Hi, I'm Shivam.
Hi, I'm Izzy.
And this is Phoenixchat.
Where one of us can read.
Which one?
You find out.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Phoenixchat. And today we have a extra special episode because today we're talking about the filler arc, where absolutely nothing of importance happened.
No, but it was fun either way.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I say there's nothing important that happened, but actually, there were definitely some kind of important things that you guys managed to, talk about, and also just, the general vibe of it. When I kind of planned this arc out, I wanted it to just be, some kind of time in character where you guys could just, relax, let your guard down, and just kind of roleplay for a bit without having to worry, and also, and also mostly just kind of, having a bit of a retrospective than in character, where you can all kind of say, well, here's what happened. I mean, we're doing things moving forward. How do we, move forward? And so, last thing we did, was that, Juliet cut her hair off, and, everyone's a little shook after that one, if you want to explain.
So, where we last left off, Juliet cut her hair off and was walking away, and Hops was, chilling with her.
Mm-hmm.
And, Essen was talking with Boondock about, hey, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but some big shit just happened. I think she just sacrificed more than she needed to. And Boondock was like, what the fuck? Okay. And then I don't think much happened after that night. I think we just all kind of went to bed and then got up the next morning and started heading out. I didn't get up because I took 3 levels of exhaustion and I was trying to get that out as soon as I could.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so the rest of you besides you all got up in the morning, and I believe this was oh yeah. I think everyone was kind of taking watches then, and then everyone just started rolling perception, and I kind of straight up told you guys I don't really have anything interesting or big planned here. We can just skip to morning. And then you guys said, no, I insist. I want to see something here. What do I see with my perception rolls? And so I'm like, okay. Morgan sees some birds in the trees. And I think it ended up being actually, no, wait, this is the one that everyone failed their perception rolls.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because I asked, because nobody fucking did well on their perception rolls that night. We all fucking sucked. And in the morning, I was like, is there anything that I see wrong with the cart? Did somebody come and steal anything? I was so sus. And then, then that's what happened. You're right.
Yeah. But, everyone failed their perception rolls. I didn't really have anything planned, but I just kind of said, as far as you know, nothing's wrong. Just kind of trying to, put that DM fear into people. Everyone immediately starts panicking. Juliet said up in the morning, just, immediately sus for no goddamn reason.
For no goddamn reason? Are you kidding me? After how many backstabs and shit that has happened?
Yes, but you had no idea that, as far as you were aware, everyone had a very successful watch where they were, watching carefully and well. You were just I don't trust any of my party members now, and I need to make sure they didn't fuck up. This wasn't enemies, this was I don't trust my party members to not fuck up here.
Anyway.
Yeah. Check the cart, everything's cool and fine. I think the only thing I said was that Morgan saw some birds and stuff like that, and so Hops also wanted to see the birds. And I think Essen explained that eventually they would need to have the birds and the bees talk with Hops.
Oh my god.
And so Hops immediately after that talk kind of started thinking oh, birds are the thing that make babies, so if I don't want tadpoles, I must destroy all birds.
Yes, and now in her mind she's like, yes, now I'm on a mission to destroy all of the birds, and there will be no babies. And I was like, whoa, hold the fuck up. And I had to be the one to explain the quote-unquote birds and the bees to Hobbs. And mind you, everyone was like, don't you fucking dare ruin Hops. And I was like, y'all have no trust in me.
And also Morgan was the one who immediately said people fucking brothels.
Yeah. All I
fucking
said,
love though, like, despite that, like, they everyone just calls you out, despite the fact that, like, Morgan's easily just as chaotic as you are.
Yeah, I think Morgan kind of feeds off the party, and the chaotic part is from me. All I said to Hops was, look, when a mom wants a baby, she asks the birds to bring the baby. That's all I said. Like, you know, like the stork thing, you know? And she got it in her mind, like, well, if I defeat the birds, they'll all die and we're good. I'm like, no. Yeah. Don't you want, like,
Hops
another
slowly grabbing a big rock.
I'm like, don't you want, like, another Boondock or, like, another Essen or something? And she was like, no, I have you already. I'm like, well, it was so hard. It's so hard. It's like arguing with a 2-year-old. Well, not arguing, just explaining. Yes. It's just, it's
Hops
hard.
Claire gets so into character, and it is terrifying. Because, like,
terrifying.
Out of character, she is, like, just, like, this normal, like, very mature, like, competent person. In character, she is a terrifying 2-year-old, and she knows exactly how to mess with all of us.
Yep.
Yeah. She says she really enjoys playing Hops because, like, she can just shed that, like, little veil of maturity and just be, like, a whiny little 2-year-old for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But, anyway, so we've managed to somehow convince her to not kill birds. I don't remember how we did it, but we told her don't kill the birds.
Yeah.
And then we started to head off toward the Soliana. And so it started, I don't think it started snowing yet, but like the scenery has finally changed from like a desert to like mountains eventually. And you gave us the option, like you could either go to this really long valleyway, but it'll make you more exposed, but it's faster. Or you can go up the mountains, it'll take longer, but you'll have a better vantage point. And everyone was like, vantage point, we don't want to be destroyed. I'm like, dude, we're tough as shit. We could just go through the alleyway and it'll be quicker. And everyone's like, no, mountains. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's one of those choices as a DM where, like, you offer a choice to your players, but the outcome was literally exactly the same.
Yeah.
But you guys did choose the mountain range. You started taking your Saigas up. With their huge weird noses just kind of flapping about in the wind, making floop 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 noises.
Yep.
But if you haven't seen a Saiga before, they're basically just like these yak-like creatures with just like snuffle up against noses, and they basically, like, in order to like make mating sounds, they fucking like floop their noses aggressively. It's very good, and I recommend everyone to check that out. Yeah, but you guys start traveling up the mountain path. After a little while, you kind of see like a nice little field of flowers. I think at that point, Julia, Essen, and Hops went off to pick some flowers.
Well, Hops went off to find some flowers, and immediately the parental instincts of Essen and I went to follow. And as Hops was like digging around through the wildflowers, she wanted to make flower crowns for everybody, and I was like, I'll help you. She finds a scroll, and Hops has a very interesting way of picking and choosing what she likes and what she doesn't like. If she can't put it in her mouth, because the scroll would probably disintegrate in her mouth, she'll throw it away. So she tosses it behind her shoulder.
And I believe at this point Essen picked it up, and Essen rolled an Arcana check. And I kind of described as like Essen slowly unfurls the scroll. Essen suddenly like reads runes that just say explode, and then Essen just immediately told me, yep, nope, snapping that scroll back up. Juliet's not touching the scroll. Hops is not touching the scroll.
Yeah, but then Essen goes to put it away in like in his back pocket, and me being the little fucking swiper no swiping piece of shit I am, I can roll so high because I have a plus 10 in like my stealth and sleight of hand. He literally just placed it in my hand when I like sneakily like reached behind him, and I just put it away. But I managed to roll high enough to realize this is a prank scroll. So basically what happens is you open the scroll, and like it bursts to like colorful confetti or like powder or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you and Hops then made some flower crowns. It was very cute. Distributed flower crowns to the party. Everyone's very happy and good. Keep traveling up on this mountain path. As you guys travel onwards, Morgan hears the flapping of wings. And as Morgan kind of looks into the distance, Morgan can see two, like, wyverns that are currently in the sky with someone who's currently, like, hiding in a cave in the distance. Hops, who doesn't understand the difference between wyverns and birds, assumes because they have wings they are birds, and so, oh my god, the size of those babies are going to be gigantic, I need to hide.
Yep. And this, by the way, this is where we started a quotes channel on our Discord, and it has been the best decision ever. What did she say? The babies are coming, and the most tadpole-laying birds I've ever seen. Quote unquote.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah. So, I think at this point Juliet was like, "Oh, we are absolutely not helping another person ever again after that fucking incident."
And then Boondock was like cock shotgun, let's go. I'm like, really, guys? Why?
Yeah. You guys fight some wyverns as Hops is currently ostriching in the ground, just like head covered, trying to defend herself. You guys managed to kick some ass though, and defeat all the wyverns.
There was two.
And yeah, there was two of them. You defeated them, and then you decided to carve for parts like this is Monster Hunter.
Yes!
Which is appropriate, because I straight up just had like two Rathians for the image of these two monsters.
Yeah, pretty much. But with these body parts, what did we get? We got like fangs, claws, and spikes or something?
Scales.
Like spikes or scales, that's right. And with all of these combined, Hops managed to make friendship bracelets for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's so damn cute, but also disgusting because they are monster parts. But you know what? It's Hops' thing, so yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. As Hops is fashioning the friendship bracelets, though, the person in the cave that you just saved, kind of steps out, and you can guys see that it's a Earth Genasi, and his clothes are very similar to Essen's clothes. And so Noor just kind of like silently panicking, just like fuck, oh god, it's happening, fucking the backstory's about to be revealed here, oh no.
But then Morgan and Juliet suss him out immediately, like, who are you? Just pointing our weapons at him.
Yeah. Dude fucking like raises both of his hands to defend himself, like, hey, just chill, I swear, like, I'm just out here collecting, like, materials and stuff like that, and, grabbing, firewood, for my inn. As a thank you for, like, saving me, like, I could get you, like, free room and board in my inn and stuff like that. And then he also mentions, like, oh, and if you want, like, something else then, I can give you guys a magic tattoo, and if you guys help me clear out the hot springs of these weird water creatures. And so like you guys immediately like, oh, what the hell does like the magic tattoo do? And I describe because it's a cure wound spell with a range of touch. So I said the wrong words here because I said Jizo touches himself to heal. So, and then everyone started laughing.
Imagine this if you would. We ask, what is your name? And I hear G, and then something else, but because I think your mic dropped out or something. I'm like, his name's Jesus? He's an Earth Genasi who just arose from a cave and touched himself to heal? It's Jesus?
Yeah. Jesus emerges from the cave. Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter. Anyway.
Yeah, so after Izzy damned herself to hell after saying that.
Yeah.
Jizo kind of, I was about to say Jesus. Jizo shows you guys that the magic tattoo basically, like, it allows you to cast Cure Wounds once per day, which is kind of nice because you mooks kind of go down pretty often.
Who is you mooks? Because I'm pretty sure it's just me.
I mean, yes.
I ended up getting the tattoo later on. Just letting you know, guys. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Which is actually ironic because, like, it's weird that they gave you the tattoo because, like, if you go down, you can't use the tattoo on yourself. So, like...
You know what?
Wouldn't that actually be the worst person to give it to?
You know what? Just let me have this, okay? Let me have this. Anyway.
Oh my god.
So Jizo was like, yeah, if you guys can help me, clear out these water creatures or whatever for my hot springs, then, yeah, that'd be sick. And we're like, okay, we still don't like you. And then he's like, oh, wait, I have a bar. And then Juliet was immediately on board. So we start heading out there. And, as we're going to this inn, you describe, like, these, hot springs are, like, frozen over.
Yes, but before that, I think that, Jizo and Essen talked a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, Essen was kind of curious, like, how much do you know about my backstory here? How much is Shivam trying to mess with me? So I kind of describe, as I say, like, Jizo says that he is, he's not from the same country that Essen is from. His parents were from there, and but his parents moved out of the country to the western half of the continent. So Jizo hasn't really, like, been around that culture too much. He knows, like, of it from what his parents have told him, but, like, he doesn't really know, like, the day-to-day happenings in any of, like, the key movers and shakers in the home country. And so Essen kind of satisfied this answer, is like, okay, but, like, Jesus still kind of asking, like, a couple of questions and stuff, like how have things been. Essen kind of, like, awkwardly, like, yeah, no, like, things have been all right. Kind of, like, relaying a few stories about his home of Lenore. And at this point, yeah, then you guys crusted upon the hot springs and saw that, like, these weird water creatures have frozen the hot springs up.
Yeah, and I think at that point I was on my last exhaustion. Like, I had 3 and now I was down to 1. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, let's go have Juliet rest up and then we can go fight him. Haha, wrong. So Hops immediately starts heading over to the hot springs, and Essen used what was it?
Levitate
on Hops, so that way Hops couldn't be able to get away. Well, I don't know what the roles were. Was it like acrobatics or something like that?
Yeah, it was acrobatics, and Hops is in fact a monk. So Hops was very easily able to use the levitate to get over the fence even easier than she would be normally. As she's able to just, like, start dragging herself, like, up with, like, just climbing up the fence. And so Essen immediately panics as soon as Hops is at the top of the fence and stops levitate, because he doesn't want Hops to just be, like, floating just above, like, the range of these creatures and, like, have the creatures just be able to just, like, smack her about. And so Hops falls, and again, because she's a monk, is able to fall on the other side of the fence, and is now in the hot springs. And so Hops, the only way she really knows how to heal herself is that because she needs to be submerged in water for an hour a day, she basically was like, oh, if I jump into the hot springs, I can heal myself better. Completely ignoring the water monsters as she tries to jump into one of the pools. And so, like, she jumps into one of the freezing pools. The water monster's, like, hissing at her, and she's like, okay, I know exactly what Hops is going to do to defuse this situation, as Hops decides to shine her lights into the monster's eyes, pissing it off, and having you guys roll initiative.
Yep. That was fun.
Yeah, so everyone else is on the other side of the fence, and I fully expected, like, oh, you guys are gonna, like, rest up or go in through, like, the normal way, but, like, no, so all of you guys started from fucking off-screen. Boondock uses, their satyr legs to fucking, like, vault over the fence and, like, start
Boondock
attacking
is
the
also
monsters.
6'5".
Yeah. Yeah, no, so Boondock's very easily able to fucking vault over it. He fucking just, like, clears it like a high jump without any sort of, like, yeah. Meanwhile, though, Morgan, Juliet, and Essen, they still need to, like, take a turn to kind of climb up the fence or under the fence.
Yeah, Morgan went under. I just, like, vaulted over it because, you know, rogue. And then I think Essen just kind of floated over it.
I think Essen had to climb because he didn't have any levitate.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, Hops at this point, like, gets attacked by, like, one of the water monsters and, like, is struggling to fight against it because, like, all she wants to do is just, like, hide in the pool. So, Boondock then, starts trying to, like, swipe at these creatures as the rest of you guys finally manage to wiggle your way into the hot springs. Yeah, people start, fucking blasting, I believe that Morgan started using lightning shots because it's like, oh, it's water. It worked really well because like these creatures basically got hit by it very easily. But anytime that Morgan used one of the lightning shots, because the creature was also made of water, the pool that the creature was in would also like electrify during the shot. Yeah, so the fighting continues a little bit more. One of the water weirds, I think, like, tries to strangle Boondock and, like, drag them underwater. Boondock's fucking, like, furiously trying to fight against it, and eventually, like, Crocodile Dundee's his way into just, like, fucking, like, into a death roll with the monster. Grabs his animated rope, brings it around the neck of the water monster and begins to try and just like drag it out of the water. I then looked at the water monster's stat blocks. Apparently, if it goes out of the water, it immediately dies. So Boondock keeps like dragging the monster, and it's just this like long snake-like creature, and the creature just keeps like stretching and stretching, and eventually it just pops. As water just kind of splashes all over, and the water monster fucking explodes. And I believe Boondock during this straight up just like yelled out, let me see the exact quote here. Head him up and move him out, jumps into the water, giddy up, then strangled the water dragon before dragging it out.
Yeah.
We finally got the giddy up.
Yep.
Oh man. I think Juliet also got like almost drowned by one of the monsters.
Probably.
As she's wont to do.
You know, yeah. The running joke is I play a rogue as a tank and I shouldn't be, but you know, it's fine.
Oh man. Hops is also just still in the water with one of these creatures, and like Morgan's realizing that like either he makes a shot with the lightning bolts at like one of the creatures who's currently like trying to like as Hops grappled, and like if he makes a shot with the lightning shot, he might also hit like Hops with it. I think he actually like went through with it because Hops player is like, oh, I should have enough health, everything's fine. Takes the damage, and like Hops player is like, okay, that was probably more damage than I was anticipating there. As Hops is now very, very low on health.
Yeah. But didn't Hops manage to finally like defeat something for the first time? Wasn't it one of the water dragons?
Yeah. The Hops, thankfully, with very low HP, manages to flick her tongue out and take like the orb that's in one of these creatures and like flick it out of it, defeating the creature. As she splashes into the pool.
Yeah. First kill for Hops.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Boondock fucking, like, the bloodlust just going directly to their head is just immediately diving into another pool, trying to strangle another creature and drag it out of the water with this newfound power they now have. Yeah. Boondock then strangles the second water dragon, finally feeling happiness for one of the first times in their life.
Jeez.
As they say, well, guess that's all of them. As all of you guys are now soaked and just absolutely freezing.
While we were doing that, or once we finally finished, Morgan found the backup generator for the hot springs and managed to fix it, so that way the hot springs could become a hot springs again. And while that was happening, when Hops defeated that water dragon, water serpent, whatever water thing, she found this marble thing, and immediately she starts diving into the pools, getting all of these marble things, and I was like, hell yeah, and just puts them in her mouth, So Hops had finally found her marbles. That was great. And so Juliet and Hops decide to fucking Survivor Man sit next to one of the de-thawing hot springs, both of them hurt and both of them shivering because it's fucking freezing out, waiting for the hot springs to warm up, and everyone's like, dude, this is gonna take a while, right? And they're like, shut up, it's fine, we'll just wait.
Yeah. I was seriously considering, do I just, make them roll constitution saves and give them more levels of exhaustion for just, sitting in this freezing pond room? No, this is supposed to be the chill, cool episode.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so while we were chilling out there, everyone else went inside to get changed and whatnot.
Yeah. And I believe that as they were changing, you two who are still in the hot springs see a woman who is approaching you. She seems to be kind of cleaning up the hot springs a little bit and stuff like that, trying to get the monster goop out of it and such. And,
I pulled my sword out on her, who are you now?
Yeah, the woman immediately raises her hands and just I'm Jizo's wife. My name's Lorelai. And kind of explains she was just mainly here to just kind of clean up a little bit and get the hot springs ready. Because they're not quite ready to be sat in quite yet. You two immediately ignored her, and she's like, "Okay, I guess you can wait in there if you want. You guys at least want towels to warm yourselves up and stuff."
And you know what we did? So Hops just takes a towel and puts it around herself over her clothes and just plops in the water. And I was like, okay. I just stripped down because I don't think Julia has much shame in her body or anything. Pulled the towel around myself and plopped down right in the fucking water with her. But she's like, okay, fucking weirdos, and she didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure that's what she was thinking.
Mentally, yeah.
Mentally, yeah. But she was trying to make it look prettier and stuff like that as the fucking hot springs finally started warming up, and we were like, yes, nice. She brought out this basket with sakura petals in it. And are sakura petals only pertaining to my homeland or also Essence?
Both of your homelands.
Oh, okay. So basically, we're from the east. And she starts sprinkling all of these petals all over the empty hot springs, and I was like, please do not put that in there. And she's like, okay. And Hops, noticing me being upset over these little petals, starts to fucking Pac-Man eat the petals that come near me in the water.
Yeah. Oh god, that was adorable.
It was so cute.
Yeah. Hops is just Pac-Manning around. Meanwhile, after drying themselves off, the guys are like, oh, maybe we should follow them and just because the hot springs should actually be properly ready by now. And then I believe that Essen and Boondock went to go change in the gender neutral changing room as Morgan went to the guys changing room. Yeah, and so as Essen and Boondock are changing, Essen eventually kind of reveals a bit of a secret that they were born in the wrong body, and so as they kind of reveal that, they changed into a towel, as Boondock also gets into a towel, and head over to you two in the hot springs. As you guys see what looks like a Genasi woman walking towards you guys.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain this next, Brett?
So basically, all of us finally got to the same pool, and none of us knew who the fuck Essen was except for Boondock. We're like, who the hell's this? And it's Essen, you fucking idiots. And we're like, oh, what's up? Like, I feel like none of us really care much about gender. Hops especially. I don't think Hops has the concept of, like, that kind of thing. But honestly, yeah. I think all of us are close enough now, like, all of the adventures that we've been on thus far, we didn't really give a shit. And Essen even was like, I just wanted to show you guys this because we are technically a family now, and this is, like, big for me. And we're like, alright, cool. And he's like, what? And we're like, yeah, cool, whatever. Because I feel like if we made, like, I feel like if we made, like, a huge deal about it, it would just make Essen even more uncomfortable. So I was like, yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, you guys have been chilling in the hot springs. You guys kind of, like, I think you guys looked over at Boondock first, and, like, as you guys, like, looked over at Boondock's, like, covered in scars. They're not exactly, like, especially dexterous, and they're not, like, very good at, like, getting out of the way, so they've taken, like, a lot of, like, gunshots to the body just over the years. And so, as you guys kind of, like, pointed at Boondock's scars, they kind of, like, asked, like, oh, like, how the hell did you get those anyways? As Boondock kind of explains, like, yeah, no, I mean, growing up in Hope's Landing, especially after becoming sheriff, like, you go out on these missions, and, like, occasionally you just get shot up, but, like, you know, I always was able to at least, you know, ride back to town. Ma would patch me up as best as she could, and went into, like, a very specific story about One-Eyed Johnson, who gave him a scar
on his armpit.
Yeah, by his armpit. Yeah, and so, even though the guy only had one eye, just a legendary marksman, and just, like, was able to manage to just, like, wing Boondock before Boondock managed to get him good. Yeah, and after Boondock started explaining there, all of you guys started going around telling each other your scar stories.
So, actually, that did happen, but I think Hops was the one who noticed, the scars on Juliet's back first and pointed them out, and she was like, I don't want to talk about it. And Boondock was like, tell you what, I'll let you pick one of my scars and I'll tell you the story if you tell me yours. That's why I mentioned the armpit, because I was like, who the hell shot you in the armpit? So basically, Juliet has these 3 long claw marks, like, from her tailbone all the way up to, like, the bottom of her neck. And she kind of turned and showed them all, like, this is a huge ass scar going down her back, and she's like, I got these from fighting my mom. And everyone's like, what the fuck, your mom's a bitch. I'm like, I know, right? I don't think I said much after that. I think I just said, yeah, they were from my mom. That's it.
Yeah, but, like, the party definitely, like, heard the implications of, like, the very tenuous relationship in quote-unquote with your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Hops kind of, like, was like, oh, everyone else has cool scar stories, but I don't have anything.
Well, then we asked her, like, where do you have a scar? And she holds up, like her arm or something, and it's, like, the tiniest little scar. And Boondock is the one who's like, oh, you got this from killing that water dragon, and you were so brave. And we're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and Hops just absolutely elated. Yeah.
Morgan's was the best.
Yeah. I think it went Essen next, and Essen kind of explained, like, yeah, no, they basically got a couple of scars, like, fighting bandits and stuff like that. I don't think it was a huge story with that one, or I might be misremembering. If you can remember.
Morgan's was the best, though.
Yeah, and then Morgan's, you can go ahead.
He basically, hold on, I have to look it up in quotes, because it was so fucking funny. So basically, Morgan, he has, like, this tiny scar, like, I think on his like, forehead or something. I can't remember. It was on his face somewhere, and we're like, what's that from? And he's like, there was a chair. I ran into a chair. That was it. And we fucking lost it. It was so fucking funny.
Yeah, no. I think Essen chimed in and just, like, solemnly nodded, just like, chairs are dangerous. Morgan's like, right? They should be outlawed or regulated or something.
They should be regulated.
Oh, that was a real good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys kind of laugh it off, and after like sharing in the hot springs and swapping stories, I can describe like the physical scars are always going to kind of just be a part of you guys for a very long time, but like you feel like just a lot of like from this like hot spring experience, just a lot of like your emotional scars are kind of starting to heal up a little bit. As all of you felt renewed. Juliet lost her last level of exhaustion, and everyone then got advantage on charisma checks all the way until Soliana.
Yeah, and that bit you right in the ass, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I didn't think you'd make so many charisma checks, and because it was mostly supposed to be like very combat oriented. But no.
That's what you think.
But no.
Anyway, so we head back inside, and we were like, "Hey, Jizo, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, hey, don't worry, I'm making dinner for everybody. So if you guys want to go like chill in the bar," and Juliet's like, "Yes, a bar." So we head inside, and we're all chilling around, and all of a sudden there is another satyr, but like an actual satyr, not Boondock satyr.
Yeah, so the satyr kind of like pokes Boondock in the side, and just like as soon as Boondock like turns to look, the satyr just pointing to their horns and then pointing to Boondock's horns, just like and Boondock just like very confused points at their horns and goes as the satyr immediately just like, bro, holy shit, I can't believe I'm meeting another satyr right now. And so traditionally satyrs are like dumb fucking himbos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like a lot of them are just like, you know, fucking like party frat boys who are just kind of like traveling. And so like I think Morgan just immediately suspect about fucking everything, like immediately pulls
out a gun, yeah. And we were all like, well,
yeah. Dude's kind of trying to play it off, just like, whoa, that's kind of like a wild thing to go to there. And I think Juliet was just like, yeah, because you might be trying to fuck us here. And I have a satyr fucking immediately respond, like, hey, I'm not trying to fuck anyone unless it's consensual.
Yeah.
And then Hops tried to bite the satyr's neck.
Yeah, and fucking Boondock was like defending this poor innocent man. We were like, ah! And you know what's funny? You even were gonna put in another fucking satyr as the bartender, and you were like, no, never mind, it's Jesus' wife. So, Lorelai, seeing all of this shit, and I start ordering drinks for everybody because in real life, I was actually a bartender, so I do know drinks, and I was ordering just, you know, some basic drinks, and Lorelai hands Morgan a drink. It was like a rum and coke or something like that, and the glass drops from his hand and it doesn't break. And just as you are about to start explaining something like why you think that didn't break, I pick up the glass and fucking slam it against the wall and it fucking shatters.
Yeah. You know, it was literally the order of events was like, okay, so the glass hits the ground, however, it doesn't shatter. And Lorelai says, "Oh, I want to pick up the glass and shatter it against the wall."
I was so fucking suspicious.
Juliet slams it against the wall. The glass fucking breaks into a million pieces. Lorelai's fucking shook, and just kind of is just like, "Why did you do that?" I don't know, it was weird.
I thought it was cursed, okay? I was like, oh shit, it was poisoned or something.
Yeah. Maybe the glass was haunted, like, and Lorelai explains, like, I don't think the glass was haunted, like, the only thing that happens, though, like, if you drop a glass and, like, it hits the ground without, it breaking, it means that you're, like, a lucky person. That's just a minor superstition we have here, but I guess, like, I don't know if I count still.
Yeah,
and, like,
we're like,
the only thing I was trying to do with that was just... The only thing I was trying to do with that was play off the idea that, like, Morgan has the lucky trait,
For
as a halfling. Yeah, and so like I was literally just trying to kind of like, how does that work in game, you know? And so like that was all I was trying to do, but you guys are so fucking shook that you were just like, nope, fucking smashing the glass, weapons out, something's happening, the glass is legion.
Yep. Like, okay, me and Hops and Essek cleaned it though. And at that point, Lorelai was like, hey, why don't I maybe calm your nerves a little bit by reading you tarot cards? And
yeah. You all seem a little superstitious.
Yeah, so me in real life, Izzy in real life, actually does read tarot cards, so I was like, okay, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah,
and, go for it, sorry.
Yeah, so basically I researched into tarot cards just like a decent amount there, because I figured like, oh, this would be like a cool thing to kind of show like maybe some hints about like what could happen in your guys' arcs that I've kind of already had planned out without giving you too much detail about it. And so I planned something out for Morgan. I'm like, if I plan something out for Morgan, everyone's gonna fucking ask me for these. So immediately before the session started, I immediately like panicked and fucking like, okay, how do I like set up tarot readings for everyone? So Morgan was up first. You
didn't put Morgan's in here.
I didn't put Morgan's in here. I made a terrible mistake.
God damn it, now you have to cut all of this out.
God, it was on the other page. That's what it was.
Way to go.
Classic.
It's ruined.
There
it is.
From the top. I get best sounds. So, I designed tarot cards then. I believe Morgan was up first. So as Lorelai picked out the 3 cards, she then like explained like, okay, so this represents your past, your present, and your future. So she flips over the past, and says that this represents creation, and basically
it's the
like
magician.
Morgan.
Just say
what?
It's the magician.
Oh, sorry, it is the magician. Yeah, sorry, it was the magician, representing creation. And so Morgan sought to achieve something, and by his own powers, he kind of made his goals happen. As Morgan kind of explains, like, yeah, no, I'm kind of like a bit of an engineer. I make like guns and stuff like that. Present, it was the tower. As Izzy's mildly freaking out.
So, the tower is the worst fucking card you can get out of all of the goddamn tarot. And Shivam was just going off of the major arcana, and I'm like, you picked the tower for fucking Morgan? Okay, buddy, continue.
Yeah, and so I said it represents disaster, and so like it also can represent like a loss of pride in yourself, but also a loss of like innocence or someone else kind of betraying your trust. And Morgan goes on to explain like, yeah, no, a lot of people have betrayed my trust, especially like my dad. Like it's not been great. And for the future, it was reverse temperance, which represents extremes. So there may be an incredibly difficult choice that Morgan needs to make in his journey in the future up ahead. Which we've now kind of gotten to. It wasn't exactly a huge decision, but I think it was a pretty big one.
Got it. I understand now. Oh, wow. Yeah. It's like you planned this out, Shivam. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
I understand. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so everyone else immediately is just like, oh, well, we also want our tarot cards right now. I'm like, and Boondock's player was immediately just like, fucking like, yeah, Shivan's just gonna like start panicking now because he doesn't know all these things prepared. I'm like, oh, I absolutely do have these things prepared. Of course I knew you guys were going to ask about this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I went to the next one was, Essen. The past was the reversed hangman, which represents sacrifice. Either a needless sacrifice you made or some kind of fear of sacrifice. And Essen kind of goes a little bit like quiet at that one, is just kind of like contemplative. Next was the present, which was the lovers, representing unity and bond. Perhaps there was someone recently that Essen's become close with, as Essen just, like, immediately starts blushing.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah. Essen's then really kind of panicking about the future because, like, he expects something to be really bad that's coming up ahead for him.
Mm-hmm.
But as Lorelei flips over, it's the reverse hermit, representing guidance. So there may be a time where you're uncertain of the way to go forward, and you rely on the bonds you've made to help guide you. And Essen's actually kind of relieved about that one, because, you know, he was really expecting something a whole lot worse to be predicted in his future. I think, Juliet, you went then?
I called these things magic cards because I was like, because I highly fucking doubt Juliet knows anything there is about tarot at all. I mean, probably in her homeland there would be like oracles or something, but nothing like this. So she's like, okay, read my magic cards, lady. And she's like, okay, your past is the reverse chariot. So there was a time in your life where you had lack of control over your life. And she was like, fuck, okay, shut the fuck up and continue. The present, also the lovers. And she's like, okay, just skip that one. Skip that one. I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, as Lorelei just wiggling her eyebrows aggressively, like, oh, I see what's going on here.
She was like, shut the fuck up. Now, this threw me for a fucking loop, because I was just like, oh, okay. So the future, was, at first, it was the reverse devil, which, like, representing freedom. You have the opportunity to break the shackles of your life. Your bonds will help you through this experience, And I was like, oh, sick. But then as Lorelei went to go pick up the card, it flipped to the upright devil. And I was like, what the fuck? And basically it was like, yeah, if you keep, like, feeding into your instincts and feeding into your addictions, bad things are gonna happen. And I was just like, oh. And so I thought immediately, oh, my drinking problem. But then I'm like, actually, I don't think that has gotten us into any bad situations yet. But I think everything else has.
It was more about, like, impulses, because I think your impulses have gotten you guys into a little bit of trouble,
just
a few times now.
Just a little. Not a lot.
Yeah, I think Boondock kind of just, like, laughed at that and just kind of said, impulses. I think actually Boondock went next and Hops went last.
Yeah.
So Boondock, as they kind of, like, walk up, like, oh, you guys playing poker? Deal me in. As they slap down a fucking gold coin on the table and have Lorelai explain, like, no, this is more like a fortune reading and stuff like that. And Boondock's, again, just like, deal me in then? Yeah, okay. Gold on the table. Lorelai once again hands it back and says, like, no, okay, I'm going to place out 3 cards, and you can't touch them, and I need to flip them over, alright? Lorelai places down the 3 cards, Boondock immediately reaches for one, Lorelai slaps their hand away.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Lorelai goes on to explain, in the past, Reverse Emperor, it represents control. You feel like you need to have control of your life in some way to the point of hurting yourself or others. And what's also interesting about the Reverse Emperor is it also represents fatherhood and father figures in general.
Yep. Ouch. Big ouch.
Present was death, as I had Lorelai immediately go like, okay, everyone calm down, as, like, I'm assuming, like, all of you guys just immediately started, like, reaching for your weapons.
I mean, Izzy, no, I was like, oh, okay, cool, death, but Juliet, absolutely,
Yeah, and so death represents the end. You recently closed, like, a chapter in your life, and so, like, Boondock kind of mumbles out something like, oh, the whole thing with Lucky. And the future is the sun, representing joy. So while that chapter in your life is over, you can find happiness if you continue to look forward and seek joy.
Man, where is that?
So...
Where is that, Shivam? Because right now, where we're at, don't see it.
Oh, man. Maybe it's the future.
The future. Ah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Boondar kind of just like, oh, that went better than I expected.
The future. Okay.
Yeah. Then Hops went. First up, Reverse Hierophant, representing Rebellion. She's never been afraid to see the world in her own way, as Hops blinks one eye and then the other. Present is the Star, representing Faith. The universe has blessed you with new powers and opportunities, as Hops blinks one eye, then the other. And then the World, representing the end of the journey. You'll understand something new about yourself or the world through your new blessings, as Hops blinks one eye, then the other.
That's still kind of like up in the air a little bit, that last one, because I think what you planned, which we'll talk about later, was supposed to make a bigger impact, and I fucked it up because I couldn't explain it really well. Yeah. Anyway, so finally, after all the tarot cards are read, we finally sit down and eat some food, which is from Juliet and Essen's homeland, and we're like, yes! Thank God! And what's funny is we all got to sit around kotatsus, and if you know anything about like Asian culture, kotatsus are like these tiny tables with like these thick, heavy blankets over them, so that way like you can put your legs underneath it and be warm like in the winter. And these are tiny tables. Boondock is 6'5". Boondock cannot sit at this table.
Yeah. I think Boondock called it the halfling table.
Yes.
And then Morgan called it a halfling table, and Boondock's like, yes, this makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So we started to eat, drink some sake, play some mahjong, and fucking bullshit bets I can't stop taking because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
What was even the bet? It was Essen and Juliet was playing a game of mahjong, and Essen's like, tell you what, let's have another bet. She's like, fuck yeah. If I win, you have to pay my entire tab for the next tavern or something like that. I don't remember what I said. And Essen was like, fine. But if I win, you have to sleep in my bed tonight. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that one was spicier than it sounded.
Yeah. And I was like, fucking deal. And I lost.
Yep.
Again.
Yeah, so, also during that night, though, yeah, so you guys also, like, made, like, hot pot and stuff like that, and, like, Boondock was, and Morgan were very confused, like, oh, food's not done.
Yeah, and we were like, no, you have to cook the food, and they're like, what? And I'm like, cook the food?
Yeah. You guys fixed meals for everyone, and then, I believe at, a little bit after dinner then, Jizo and Essen also started talking for a little bit, just like, as Juliet was, drunkenly trying to teach, Morgan and Boondock how to play Mahjong.
Morgan just built, like, a cool little house out of Mahjong pieces. That's what I can remember out of that.
Boondock was just going, like, the stupidest moves, like, reaching over and, like, turning one of...
This is
Morgan's
an elite
pieces.
Move.
Yeah. Both of them just trying to stack their pieces higher to see who wins. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. As those shenanigans are going out in the background, Jesus kind of like explaining just like, oh, like talking about like everything that's been like going on in like Lenore and stuff like that. Is Essen's kind of explaining the latest gossip and stuff like that. Like, oh, like so and so, these two nobles like went off and eloped and stuff like that. Etc., etc. Before he eventually then said something kind of important, that the light effectively has fallen in Primordial, which Jizo kind of understands the culture of Lenore, but doesn't quite understand it exactly. But he gets like the general gist of the idea and understands like this is kind of like a big thing that he's admitting to me. The rest of you guys didn't quite pick that up though, so
yeah,
eventually we'll get to that part of the traumatic backstory.
Yeah, we were all just fucking around doing our own thing. We had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah. I was one of those things, like, this was one of the I want to say 3 times I tried to put stuff from like Essen's backstory in where Essen could like explain to you guys a little bit more of his backstory, but then never really got the opportunity, and so Essen's still secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now to this day, you guys still don't know Essen's backstory.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully after this arc, you guys should be able to. Yeah. Yeah. You guys continue on drinking for a little bit as Lorelai gives Jizo some more drinks and gives Jizo a peck on the cheek. As Jizo kind of explains, like, yeah, no, Lorelai's the love of my life. And like, you know, it is just kind of a little bit rough though, because Lorelai is an elf and Jizo's an earth genasi. So elves, of course, like, they live for way longer than genasi do.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jizo kind of explains, like, yeah, no, I mean, it's a little rough because, like, you know, one of these days, like, she'll still be here and I'll be gone. And it's kind of rough, just, like, you know, aging every single day while your wife just remains exactly the same as she was. But, I mean, it's what it is. And so Essen kind of, like, inquires a little bit further, like, how do you deal with that sort of thing? Because Essen at this point is thinking that he maybe only has years left to live, and so Jesus kind of like laughs out and just says, like, well, I think it's borrowing worries from the future to think about it too much. I think all you can really focus on is the now and the good times you can share then. And so Essen's just kind of very contemplatively sipping his sake at this because he thinks he's going to die in a couple of years, and even if he doesn't, Jizo kind of said, like, oh, you don't need to worry about this. I mean, you have your Tabaxi girlfriend, because everyone still thinks that Juliet's Tabaxi.
Yep.
And so, like, but Juliet's not a Tabaxi, she's a Kitsune, and so the exact same thing applies, because even if Essen survives this, Essen is going to have tops 100 years. Juliet will probably survive for 500 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hit you with the sads! Oof.
Yeah. I really enjoyed just, like, there was just 2 different scenes going on where it's just, like, Essen having this, like, dramatic realization, kind of realizing, like, I need to do, like, the most that I can right now. As, like, Juliet's, like, drunkenly singing with Boondock in the corner.
Playing mahjong, but not actually playing mahjong, trying to get a mahjong piece out of Hops's mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, like, how would have Juliet reacted to that information? Because has Juliet, like, realized that yet?
You know what? I honestly don't think Juliet thinks like that. I think she also kind of doesn't worry about the past or the future too much, because, like, if she is stuck on the past, like, she's just gonna remember all the bad things that's happened to her, like, from her backstory. But I don't think she worries too much about her future since she left, because she's like, I'm free now, I can do whatever I want, I don't need to worry about things like that. But just recently now, she does. So it's kind of a toss-up, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. I think in that moment in time, she did not think about anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see if you guys eventually end up confronting that idea.
Oof, oof, oof. Ow.
Sad times all around. Going over to something lighthearted then. Everyone then spends the night in the inn.
Can I clarify something real quick?
Yes,
so
go ahead.
I messaged the person who plays S, and I was like, hey, they didn't do anything, right? And she was like, no. I think the only reason why he asked her to, like, be in the same room as him is because he felt weird if he was alone in his room after he just explained, like, his biggest secret to all of you. And I was like, that makes sense. He's like, the most they probably did was hold hands while they slept. I'm like, that's cute as shit. All right, cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the morning, you guys all wake up, start eating some breakfast of, I think it was, what's the Japanese egg dish? Tamago something?
Something. Rolled up egg.
Yeah. you guys chow down. As Boondock gets up in the morning, I kind of like does Boondock have like the wildest bedhead? And Boondock's player was like, no. Boondock always makes sure to like, as soon as they wake up, the hat is on and you cannot see the bedhead. And so Izzy, being, the way she is,
Yeah.
her first impulse is, I'm gonna steal their hat.
Immediately. And so I did, because I think this was like the first time Boondock ever drank a lot, right? And that's why I think Boondock was actually the last one to get up, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So I yoink his hat, and he's like, bro, why? And I was like, dude, let me give you a haircut. And he's like, no.
Boondock's hair literally poofed out from under the hat.
It's like a giant fro. And he's like, why would I trust you, of all fucking people, to give me a haircut? And I'm like, because I'm good at knives. And he's like, what the fuck? So I was like, please. And I'm like, I will annoy you until the day you die, until you let me give you a haircut.
Yeah.
So finally, he manages to give me a haircut. And since this was a performance role, I got advantage. Thank God, because like the first roll I had was like a 3 or something.
Yeah, no. I was so hoping you'd get like a 3 or something, and Boondock would just have to have a fucking fuck me up fam haircut for all the way until Soliana.
But I actually did pretty well. You look at clean now. I'm like Juliet the barber out here cutting hair, whatever. But now we can see Boondock's eyes, and I think we decided it was baby blue color, but I don't remember.
Yeah, and so I had a joke with Boondock's player, like, if Boondock ever cuts the hair in front of their eyes, I'll give them a +1 to their ranged weapons because they can finally see. And I decided that, yes, as Boondock can finally see the light of day for the first time, you now get a +1 to all of your ranged attacks.
Hell yeah. Yep.
Oh my god.
So I was like, yes, let's go! And then, I think then I asked Lorelai, like, hey, where did you get those magic cards? Like, where can I get some of those? And she's like, oh yeah, there's this magic shop, like, not too far from here. You can probably go and get some. And I was like, sick, let's go. I don't think anything monumental happened after that, other than us going and seeing where we could find the magic cards.
Yeah. Should we cut it here then, and then just explain the rest of this part, or do you want to explain the rest of this part now, and then just go on the next dungeon all in one episode?
I think we could just explain the up until we ran away from the hag, and then start from there to the dungeon. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys then headed out. Lorelai marked a place in the map and basically like, oh, it's not too far away from here. And as like the place was marked out, like I had a plan in mind for something that could have happened. But we'll get to that after we talk about exactly what happened. So you guys show up at the magic item shop, and you find this like this tiny little hut with chicken legs, and that wasn't a hint at all. Just ignore it. It's totally fine. Nothing at all. You guys enter the little hut. It's this tiny little like shop that has like spell scrolls and tiny little magic items and stuff. Yeah, and so you can buy a tarot deck, but it's 800 gold, I believe, or something like that. And Juliet currently has, let me calculate, 0, I wanted to say?
Yep, I had 0 monies because I had to give it all away to Lucky because I broke the law. Anyway, so in my mind, I was like, I could take these, but I feel like something bad is gonna happen.
I was also thinking, what happens if you take these?
But as I was like, I have no gold, I was like, I was about to barter with this woman for anything else that I fucking had that wasn't gold. But as I was about to do that, Hops' player was like, why don't you just trade with Hops? You know she doesn't really care about money. And I was like, oh, you're right. And Hops has like, what, 800 gold on her or something. So I was like, hey, Hops, yeah. You want to trade? Okay, what do you have? Because Hops is a merchant. Duh, this makes sense. I was like, okay, here we go. I pull out 1 Molotov that we made. She's like, okay, keep going. And I'm like, 2 Molotovs that I made. Okay? And then I pulled out the romance novel that I got from
the steamy romance novel you got.
The steamy romance novel that I stole from the secretary in Hope's Landing.
And Hops is like, oh my god, I've seen you read that like 2 times. I need it. Yes, absolutely. As you guys perform the trade, and you give your goddaughter porn.
Okay, listen here. Hops can't read, so it's okay.
That's... But you get your 800 gold, and you buy your thing fair and square, and as you're buying it, I kind of mention, like, this woman, she has, like, a lot of wrinkles and stuff on her face, like, it's not, like, just a whole lot of wrinkles, but, like, it's enough that it's fairly noticeable. She looks on the older side, and you want to explain what you did next?
No.
No, I think you should explain.
No, I don't think I'm gonna...
So, Juliet sees, yes, wrinkles, and immediately says, holy shit, you're old. Boondock immediately just like, Juliet, you can't just say that, as the woman just looks hurt, like, why would you say that?
Okay, hold on. In my defense, this is something Juliet would totally fucking say, because, like, she has no fucking filter on herself, okay? So, in Kitsune, what the fuck is the word I want to say? Culture, yes. Being old, and even in Asian culture, being old is a great thing, because it means, like, you've lived a long life, you are prospering right now, like, good on you. And I was like, holy shit, you're old! And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, great job. And she's like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
And then she said, I'm 30, what the hell?
Well, you said that, and that made me even more fucking suspicious. I was like, wait a minute, she's 30 and she looks this old? Okay. But while I was, like, kind of stewing on that, because I was like, that's fucking suspicious. Why is she 30 and looks this fucking old? But okay. Everybody else, made their I bought my tarot card, which I bought my tarot card, I want to say. And everybody else bought their wares. So Morgan got a magic gauntlet. So basically this gauntlet can, change somebody's roll from a nat 1 to a nat 20. How many times can you use it? Like 3 times a day or something like that?
3 times a day. Yeah. And I also had the shopkeeper mention, like, yeah, it's got some kind of secondary effect to it. So, you know, it's kind of a little weird. I'd be a little cautious about that item. But Morgan's like, yeah, no, it still seems worth it.
Yeah. Boondock got 2 scrolls.
Yes. One was a Find Familiar scroll, and the other scroll was secret.
Yeah, we didn't catch that. At least I didn't catch that. I was like, cool, whatever.
From there, I think that Essen was just like, okay, everyone's made their purchases, then I'm taking Hops, I'm going to the car.
No, Essen said I gotta go start the cart.
Yeah. I'm gonna go fucking wait outside with Hops, everyone else come out here when you're done embarrassing me.
Yeah. I think he picked up Morgan and Hops and was heading out to the cart, and Boondock was like, I am not leaving Juliet alone in this fucking shop. And I'm like, good choices were made here. So basically... The
shopkeeper went to the back to wash her face.
Because she felt bad.
You insulted her to your face.
Yeah, I did that. And then there was a bell.
Yes. And then your immediate first thought was, I want to steal the bell. And then I'm like, are you sure you can? But I mean, is this the thing you're going to steal?
Yeah, you made me really sus every single time. I'm like, maybe I should steal this. And I was like, you know what? Never mind, because no, you're making me super sus about everything in the store, so I'm not going to touch shit.
But then you started to just, like, ding the bell, and she's like, yeah, hold on, give me a minute. And then you ding the bell again, like, yeah, hold on, give me a minute. And you started dinging the bell aggressively.
Yeah.
As you can just hear the longest of sighs.
Yeah, I'm annoying, guys. So, I'm dinging this bell a million times, and Boondock, like, puts his hand over mine, and he's like, fucking stop. And I was like, we're holding hands. And he's like, I fucking hate you.
Oh my god, Juliet's the worst.
I know, I love her.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Boondock
finally...
fucking exasperated, just like going to the door, holding it open, just like, okay, I'm gonna wait out here, fucking...
No.
Oh, you're done.
No. So, Boondock did not want to leave me alone. Okay, hold on. So, finally, the lady comes back, and she's like, yes, can I help you? And I was like, look, hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Like, from my culture, being old is a good thing, so you're doing a great job, and that's what I meant to say. And I handed her the special edition romance novel as an apology. And Boondock was like, Jesus fucking Christ. But then I realized, like, when she came back, her wrinkles were gone, and I was like, hey, Boondock, can you leave us alone so we can have, like, a heart-to-heart, like, girl talk? And Boondock was like, what the fuck? What? And I was like, yeah, it's okay. And he's like, no. And I was like, please.
Yeah, eventually Boondock decided to compromise with you and just wait by the door holding it open.
Yeah. And so I leaned into this lady and I was like, so, what kind of beauty products do you use? Like, that's super cool. Like, it's like all of your wrinkles are magically gone. And she's like, oh, you know, I don't use anything other than, like, this cream. And I was like, yeah, can I see it? What? Yeah, I want to see the cream that you use. Well, I just ran out. And I was like, can I see the container?
Yeah. And then at the point, the woman just, like, kind of gritting her teeth, like, you ask a lot of questions, don't you?
Yeah, and I was like, yep, I know.
Yeah. I probably should have given you a better warning, but I think I had the woman kind of, like, say, like, are you sure you want to, like, start this whole thing? As Juliet is, of course, like, yeah, of course I wanna. Yep. As the woman's face begins to transform. And Juliet immediately sprints out.
I was like, nope, fuck, it's Legion. I was like, shit, we gotta go now.
Yeah. So I have Juliet try and roll dexterity as the woman attempts to slam the door closed magically. Which would have been real fun because she could cast Arcane Lock, which would have basically just, like, trapped you inside of it. And unless someone decided to break a window, they wouldn't have been able to get in.
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thankfully Boondock was able to hold the door open, as he just, like, rips it off the fucking hinges as it tries to, like, slam closed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. At this point, like, Essen's already, like, starting the cart as, like, you're sprinting out the door. The woman then transforms fully into a hag. And y'all roll initiative, the hag starts chasing after you. You guys manage to fucking pile into the cart and start falling, like, go. As the woman casts, you were about to fucking, like, flip off the hag, and I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? And you're like...
No, I was like, I thought about flipping off the hag, but then I remembered what the tarot cards were saying, and I was like, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that, because that's the reverse devil card saying, hey, quit fucking around. And I was like, you're right, I shouldn't do that. Let's not piss off the lady who's trying to kill us at the moment. Yeah.
So all of you pile into the cart, the woman fucking, like, flies out the door. As you guys are scrambling to get away, she then casts I believe it was a lightning bolt on you guys. As you guys take a shit ton of damage.
Yeah.
Thankfully, though, you guys took, like, a shit ton of damage, and, like, Juliet was knocked out, but, like, you guys were not dead. As I explained, like, yeah, no, if Juliet had taunted the hag would have cast this spell on her, as I kind of show the damage for it and how it would have instantly killed Juliet.
Yeah. Ain't that fun?
Oh my god. Yeah, no, so you guys fucking, like, sprint off into the distance. Here was my plan for the thing. I had set up a shop, and I'm like, okay, Juliet has no money, so Juliet's gonna try and steal something. What are my defenses that I can use, then, to punish this? I'll have the shopkeeper be, like, a high-level, character. Okay, the shopkeeper is a high-level spellcaster. Okay, if she's a spellcaster, I need a story for her. Why is she a spellcaster? Oh, it's because she's actually a hag. Yeah, so that was my character motivations there. And so, like, I didn't mean for the fight to be started by you guys just, like, prying into too much information, but also, like, because you've specifically pissed her off, I think she's going to try to attack you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Julia has a gift of pissing people off, you know? It's fun.
And the also other fun thing that I had planned was that, if you had, decided to try and make a deal with her, she said, like, how about this? Maybe you can drink a potion with unknown effects. I have no idea what it does, and then you can just write back to me, explaining what the effects did, and I will give you the tarot deck in exchange for you testing this out.
You know, I kind of wish I did that. That would have been so funny.
Yeah, because here's the effects day by day. It would happen for a solid week. Day 1, you must only answer questions with lies unless they are asked about the reason for your behavior. In which case you respond truthfully, just to really confuse people. Day 2, your charisma stat becomes your cha stat specifically becomes your char stat, determining your effectiveness as cooking up a mean barbecue. Day 3, the cursed character takes 1 damage whenever a creature within 30 feet of them takes any damage. Day 4, the character must agree to every suggestion or request made within 30 feet of them. Day 5, whenever you come into contact with a hallway or a corridor, you are compelled to sprint full speed to the end. Day 6, when a character physically harms another sentient being, the character must apologize. And my favorite, Day 7, the character is compelled to hug all characters they come across, even if it would be inappropriate or awkward. I even have in my notes, if someone, probably Juliet, decides to steal from the hag, she just will attack the party, focusing on the person, probably Juliet, who decides to steal from her. You know, and if Juliet had fucking, like, died in this encounter, which is extremely likely, she was going to use a soul cage to trap Juliet and then bargain with the party, either asking for information or items that are worth a person's soul, or she would have asked you to cause misery for Lorelei, as she was able to walk away from the hag's deal happy, unaware that the hag was a hag.
Yep. But none of that happened, so we're good, everyone. Hey.
One last thing I actually would like to address. After I kind of, like, did this encounter, one of the players kind of, like, came up to me afterwards, and they're probably the newest to D&D, and kind of explained, like, well, why did you set up this whole encounter? Because you knew that Juliet was going to fall for it. You basically knew that, like, they're going to do this. Like, if you know they're going to do this, why, like, bother trying to, like, punish them in this, like, way? And I think that's kind of a bad take to take with, like, DMing, because, like, one, you as a DM, you're not just planning it for, like, the single character to fall into it. You're planning for, like, the other characters to be able to explain to that character why the things are wrong, if it's differing opinions and stuff like that. And why, like, it would be bad. And then, like, if they still choose to decide to do it anyways, or, like, if the party doesn't get a chance to, like, explain that sort of thing, then your characters have to eat the consequences they are dealt here. Yeah, I don't think it's unfair for a DM to set up consequences for actions like that. I don't know, do you have any, like, thoughts on that, especially, you know, considering you were the target of that?
Oh, no, I totally knew she was gonna fucking fall for that shit. Like, are you kidding me? I think you're right. I think it just makes the other characters like, okay, hey, we need to look out for this kind of stuff because we know she would fall for it. And it just makes them a little bit more aware of what everybody else's weaknesses was. Because you could have done, like, that would have been like a mystical guitar that Boondock really wanted or something like that, you know what I mean? And that would have been on Boondock, and we'd have been like, no, this is a trap, and try to convince Boondock to like, hey, don't do that. Or like, it could have been any other character other than me, but it was me, which is fine. I'm totally fine with it. But it just makes everybody else rely on each other a little bit more.
Yeah. And I do try to spread it out amongst the party, but like, it's the easiest to do with Juliet and sometimes Hops, just because they're so impulsive.
Yeah.
With like Essen or Boondock or Morgan, like I really have to like set up a good scenario for why they would like really be against the party. Which I finally managed to do, or get like one really good one where like Boondock was in the wrong because of their own like personal biases. And that
Juliet
was, really
was right for once.
Yeah.
So
that
nice.
one was really fun to play through.
So nice.
Oh man. Yeah. Any other like final thoughts you had in this whole Hot Springs episode?
We are still sus of everyone, regardless of this Hot Spring episode.
Yes.
That's
it
all
was
I want
the
to say.
next episode that I made you even more sus,
Oh,
as well as healed some of the sus.
Dude.
I healed a little bit of it. I definitely made one key mistake in there, and you're allowed to yell at me for that key mistake when we get to it.
Yep.
But besides that, yeah, I feel like you guys are better off after this next part of the plot here. But yeah, so thank you guys again for listening to another episode of Phoenixchat. And once again, all of our stuff is in the description if you want to check out our Instagram. We don't have the Draw Some Your Style anymore, but we are still trying to post like art and stuff to the channel. Yeah, and also check out Izzy's Instagram, where she posts lots of character drawings of Juliet, as well as her other characters. If you want to support us, the best way you can do so is on Patreon. Yeah, and anything else you want to know then, Izzy?
Next episode. Aye shits. Alright, let's go. Phoenixchat. Okay.